22, Luke Breust. Number 22, Luke Breust. Luke Breust.
Luke's been phenomenal. 300 games coming from, the rookie list, and I always make jokes that he did his first time trial with a mouthguard in. That's how he came into the club, but I look at him with such pride now.
Knows how to play forward. That was never in doubt.
Oh, look at the players good around him.
First goal in AFL footy.
Breust will get a look, and who else would you want to kick it?
From my third year onwards, he really took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. And I didn't grow up as a forward. I grew up as a midfielder, so coming into AFL, he was the one that really taught me all forward craft, and he's been one of the best small forwards, the most consistent small forwards of the past 15 years. So to be able to lean on him a lot has been really special.
Breust, 45, one arm in the air. He's done it so many times for the brown and gold.
I spent so much time with him in his first couple of years, and now to see the amount of time and effort that he puts into our younger players and how far they've come off the back of his learnings and education, he's a fantastic story, and for him to get to 300 games, you've got to tip your lid to him.
I fell asleep at the wheel.
The boy from Temora in New South Wales, a lowly rookie pick, finds his way as a three-time Premiership Hawk and now the game's great milestone. Luke Breust, congratulations. Welcome back to 360.
Thank you, yeah. Big milestone this weekend and looking forward to getting over Adelaide.
Have you got a sense of what 300 means historically, what it means to you?
Not really. There's a few club greats out there out training today, so I don't think it'll be until the career's done that I'll really look back, but it's so hard to, review and think about your career when we've got a semi-final ahead on Friday night.
Yes, it's probably easier in a sleepy round 8 game, isn't it?
100%. You go into early next year, it was round 1 or 2, it's a completely different story versus a semi-final against Port over in Port.
Who's the most famous person from Temora? And how many people live there?
4,000. There's a statue in the centre of town of Pale Face Adios, the famous trotter.
That's great.
The trotter, yeah. So that's what most people say when they think of Temora.
300 games might get you a statue in Temora beside
maybe
Paleface Adios.
Maybe the oval named after me or something. But
it'd be deserved.
Hopefully I'll be maybe 6 foot under by the time they do all that, so I don't have to deal with it all.
Are you joking about that, or do you not like the acclaim?
Oh, I don't love it. I think it's just the way I've been brought up and the country upbringing and I guess pretty humble nature, so don't love the limelight and the spotlight, and have always just tried to play my role for the team and do what was needed.
How unlikely do you think it is to reach 300 from your beginnings to where you are now?
Well, being pick 47 in a rookie draft to start with probably tells you most of the story. There's a lot of guys who were picked before me that year, and I was nowhere near ready to play AFL footy in my first couple of years. Georgie will tell you that. I had a few attributes that were pretty good in terms of fend off. I had a good sidestep. My kicking was okay, but I'd step from my right foot and then I couldn't use my left foot. So it was like, well, that's pointless. So then I was trying to work out, okay, can I grow the strengths in my game, but then some of these deficiencies that I had to really work on and get them right before I could play AFL footy.
That deficiency, before you sat down, I said to Jared, I said, Finnegan, he was so balanced on his left. I actually think he was a better left foot kick for goal than Eddie Betts. Now, Eddie kicked more spectacular goals, but the amount of goals and everyone has seen you run out on your left and curl it back. How many hours and hours and hours of training did that take?
That was pretty much from day dot. So Sam Mitchell grabbed me, and then Clarko was another one who sorted out sort of grip position and everything. And because it was a blank canvas, even I'd agree with you, I technically feel more sound on my left now than I do on my right because I don't have any bad habits. So my left foot has just been built from the ground up from the day I got there. So technically it is probably a better kick on my left foot than I am on my right foot snapping, because you can belly it, you can instep it, versus I don't seem to do that as much on my left.
So how old was Mitchell then when he was getting into your ear?
Well, Mitch, so my first year was 2009. Mitch would have been, what, 2001 was his first year, wasn't it? So 8 years.
And he's still in your ear?
It was just all to get free coffees off me. I just paid free coffees for the whole year, and then until I started to beat him, and maybe a couple of years in, and then he went on to his next target.
Could we just have a look at this list together? So this is the company that you're joining at Hawthorn. Michael Tuck, Lee Matthews, Sam Mitchell, Shane Crawford, Luke Hodge, Chris Langford, Don Scott, Kelvin Moore, Luke Breust. So that gives us an idea of the company that you are ascending to. How does that list make you feel?
Oh, it was probably a similar feeling to when I kicked the 500 goals as well. It's just like you don't feel comfortable at all when you read those names out, and like there's some of the greats of Hawthorn, but there's some of the greats of the AFL as well. So some big names, and I'm sure I'll appreciate it once I'm finished. But right now, yeah, it's hard to read those names out and feel comfortable.
How have you gone about this year? So obviously you've played more as the sub than any player in league history. You've found just a perfect niche with a young group coming through. How have you balanced up?
Yeah, so it's been full circle for me with the sub. So I started, my first 5 games were all sub, and then now to be back there. It's just been a good year for development, giving back to guys, making sure these guys are fast-tracked and, yeah, doing what we're meant to. And it's allowed me to play more footy than I would have. Otherwise, if the sub role wasn't there, then I might have played 5 or 6 games this year, and that would be it, because I wouldn't have been able to get through. The groins have been pretty frustrating, to be honest, and I need a pretty lengthy period of time to get them right over the off-season, so hopefully I can take that and feel good come next year.
Have the kids made you feel old, or have they kept you young?
Kept me young, definitely. I reckon a couple of years ago I was probably on the edge of like, OK, where are we at? Is it a bit of a crossroads now? But since Sam's taken over and these young guys, the energy and enthusiasm and their work ethic and drive coming into the footy club, like I've never seen guys that work harder, do more touch, and are so diligent with their craft than anyone really. So it's certainly kept me young, and yeah, made me want to improve my game and make sure that I'm up to the standard.
Have you found the satisfaction in the dual roles, limited footy, but...
Yeah, I have now.
Yeah.
I think it took a little while to adjust.
Don't worry about the good bits. Take us to when you were feeling bad and a bit crappy.
Like, I was All-Australian squad last year, so in the back of your mind, I still want to play good footy. The athlete in you still wants to prove that you can go out there and do everything that you've always done. So that, I feel like, took me a little while to adjust this year. And in terms of, and it's probably going to be for the rest of my career now, it's just like, OK, how can I give back more to these young guys than necessarily give or get individual accolades myself?
And you're back in contention. So in the back of your mind, you must have been thinking, so my role will be to try to lift them, and it'll happen long after I'm gone. What's it like to be back in contention?
Yeah, you're right. I think that was always, it was just like, yeah, I'd love to be here, but is it realistic? Probably not. To now be, back in contention and with such a young group, like most of these guys should be playing their best footy in 2 to 3 years' time. So I can't wait. I've obviously got next year as well, so I'll be doing my very best to hang on to a spot in the team for next year as well. But to be back into contention, and our last final win was 9 years ago, so it was 2015. So it is a while, but it's just so good, and I'm so happy for these young guys that they got to experience last week, and then whatever happens next.
I want to ask you about this bloke, but don't say he's a good footballer, because we know that. Tell us about him as a teammate in the club, the character of the man that perhaps, we don't know.
Well, I think he mentioned it before. Humility was probably the one thing that I actually wrote down when trying to describe Punky. I think the other thing is trustworthy. You as a leader and probably a more experienced player, when a young kid comes in, the one thing that you are wanting from them is reliability and to be trustworthy. And he mentioned when he first came into the club, he was as skinny as I've ever seen a kid come into a football club. So he had a lot of work to do, but remarkable effort. I mean, you look, there's players that come from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different shapes and sizes when they come into the system. But to sit here on the eve of his 300th game, sits at 53 on the all-time goal-kicking record for the AFL. That is a remarkable effort, and will go down as one of the great small forwards that we've ever seen. So to put all that into perspective, I think of a lot of the people who have heard about him, have either seen him or people have spoken about him. It's not him speaking about himself, which I think is a credit to him.
And a friend, a good friend for life?
Yeah, we enjoy golf trips away. We've got a golf trip at the end of this year with 15 or 16 of us. there's only a few players that I can still cling to. Is him, Sicily to a certain extent, and Gunston in the current crop. But yeah, terrific effort, and yeah, really proud of him. But happy to be over there to celebrate with him and his family.
Cicely did a couple of interviews, and I've heard a lot of Hawks boys talk about the character of that senior group. They were really demanding of each other.
Yeah.
Were they really demanding of you, being a young kid? I know you're a young kid, country, and you're coming in, you're thin. How demanding was that Hawthorn DNA which Dermot spoke about today? How demanding was that on a young fella?
Well, I think the most intimidating thing from my point of view as a young fella early was how demanding they were on each other in terms of like the leadership position. So I was like, okay, whoever was in the leadership group, you guys have got to hold each other to account first, and then on the back of that was intimidating for us because it was like, well, if they're doing it to each other, then, geez, we better do the right thing in the rest of the team. So from my point of view, that was the most significant thing, was that they were so hard on each other that then they nearly didn't have to be as hard on us because we knew what was going to come. And it did come at times, which they could all give a pretty good spray on the field, but...
we didn't like Cobber.
No.
Yeah, didn't love it going back the other way, but they were, yeah, that's what was so good. But at the same time, they could then wrap your arm around you and go, it's all right, mate, you got the next contest, or you got the next shot at goal, or whatever it was. So they still gave you that trust and belief that you could still get it done.
It's a terrific journey. It's a great career, and hopefully it's a great night for you to celebrate with your loved ones as well.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
And thanks for coming in, you know,
really
2 days before a game of footy. The footy world thanks you.
No worries. Thanks, guys.